The scene was a familiar one for me, now beginning my 17th year in the rabbinate. There I was, standing at Mount Sinai, the cemetery. There I was standing at a cemetery. Funeral had been completed. People had just about finished placing earth. The person who passed away was a gracious, kind, and loving woman. And we were standing there, really now, almost 2 months ago. And as people were milling about, paying condolences to the family, a congregant came up to me. He came up to me and he said, "This must be the worst part of your job." And I understood what he meant when he made that statement/question. I understood what he meant because at this funeral there had been many tears shed. There was a tremendous amount of grief, tremendous amount of pain at the sense of loss that the family and the friends were experiencing. And I understood why it is that he and many who have said to me in the past, "This must be the worst part of your job." I understand where they are coming from. But I want to tell you something that I shared briefly with him and that I expound on tonight. Funerals are not the worst part of my job. They are, yes, the most painful part of being a pastor, absolutely. But they're not the worst part. And that's because even though funerals are painful, even though people are crying out at what has been torn from them, they're not bad because of the pain. In fact, the pain that is felt at a funeral, the pain that is felt when someone dies, is actually, I would argue, a good thing. It is a good pain. In fact, it is a holy pain. Because when someone dies and we feel pain at that loss, it means that they mattered to us. It means that their lives touched us, that they were important and significant, such that not having them in our lives at this point in time hurts us. And as painful as that is, that also bespeaks the meaning of the life that we have lost. In fact, I would say that a funeral without anyone feeling any pain, that would be the worst thing that I could imagine experiencing. The pain that we feel at a time of loss is, as I said, a good thing. It is a holy pain. And I think this is what the book of Ecclesiastes, the author of the book of Kohelet, was alluding to when he said, "It is better to go to a house of mourning than to go to a house of feasting. For death is the destiny of every person, and the living should take this to heart and pay attention." I believe what he was saying there was not that the feelings of a house of mourning are to be embraced more than the joy that we find at a house of feasting. Judaism is a religious philosophy that embraces life and embraces joy. But I think what he was trying to point out is much can be learned from a house of mourning. In fact, more can be learned in some ways from a house of mourning than a house of feasting. So this evening I'd like to share with you. I would like to share with you 3 life lessons that I have been privileged to learn as I have been with people when they have lost someone they love. These lessons are simple, but in their simplicity I find them profound. They are obvious, and therefore, like all obvious things, easily overlooked. And they are vital, but in the rush of our lives, we forget them. We know these three lessons very well, I suspect, but like so many things we know we should do, we need to be reminded of them. For I believe that these three life lessons will ensure that the pain others feel at our own passing will be a holy pain as well. So lesson number one, very simple. It's the small things. It is the small things. That great American icon, John Wooden, said, "It is the little things that are vital, for little things make big things happen." He could have written the Torah. In fact, this being Los Angeles, I believe there are many people here who think he did write the Torah. But he could have written the Torah in this sense, because the Torah understands that it is, in fact, yes, the little things that are vital, the little things that matter the most. This is why the Torah takes time and excruciating detail to describe what the Mishkan, what the tabernacle must look like. It goes through and describes the height, the width, the length of all the various things that have to be built, how they're to be built, what they're to be covered with, where they're to be placed. It goes through all of this detail because it understands that in these small things, the lesson learned is that this is what matters. If you really want to build an edifice, if you want to build a life, it is the small things that are vital to that building and to that life. And that certainly has been my experience. After someone has passed away, the funeral has been set, I always meet with the family day or two before, my office or at their home, and we just sit and we talk about the person that they have lost. We schmooze, we laugh, we cry. I have done this hundreds of times. And what I cannot help but notice is what people talk about. Let me tell you what they don't talk about first. They don't talk about the titles earned. They don't talk about wealth acquired. Very rarely do they mention anything about cars or houses or anything like that. And never once has anyone talked to me about clothing. Unless, of course, it was important to that person. I'll get to that point. What they talk about are the small things. When they remember someone and they describe them and the way that they touched them, they talk about how they were there, how they attended Girl Scout meetings or Boy Scout meetings, how they took them to ball games, how they came to every single play, every single special Shabbat, every single event. They talk about that they were there when they came home from school. They talk about how when that person came home from work, as tired as they may have been, they were willing to sit, to play, to engage, to talk. They talk about how they used to get together just for lunches, just to hang out, just to be with one another. They talk about the small deeds, the kind gestures, a birthday remembered, an event recalled and shared. In our day and age now, it wasn't this way when I began. They talk about an email that was sent at a time when they really could have used an encouraging word. Those are the kinds of things that people discuss when they're remembering a loved one. And in addition, They will mention those interactions that set that person apart for them, that helped create that special one-on-one relationship that they felt they had with this person, that made them feel special. And inevitably, it's small things. We used to have the same date every year on my birthday, or we used to go to the same place once a week to sit and be with one another. Always, it is the small things. Just as John Wooden said, and as the Torah reflects, it is the little things that are vital. Lesson number 2, live with passion and compassion. It says in the Torah in Deuteronomy in chapter 8 that a person cannot live by bread alone. And it's very true, because there is a difference between existing and living. Existing is just breathing in and out and maintaining our bodies. But living is a profound and deep experience. And what makes for this kind of experience? Martha Graham, the great choreographer, said, great dancers are not great because of their technique. They are great because of their passion. And so too, in all my years of meeting with families, what I have been touched by are people's passions. I alluded to it before. Some people have a passion for clothes, gesund to hate. Some people love shoes, terrific. Some people love going to the theater. Some people love art. I am told that there are a number of people, for some reason I do not understand why, who love golf. But then again, I love soccer. So, what can I tell you? What distinguishes people are their passions. And it doesn't so much distinguish them from other people, but it distinguishes themselves within their mind. It is something that drives them. It's something that they love and that they can enjoy and that they can engage. And in doing so, it brings a depth to life. The people who leave people behind who feel holy pain are inevitably, I find, those who had elements of their life about which they were deeply passionate about. Hobbies, interests, whatever it may be. However, that is not enough. It is essential to live with passion. But if that's all we do, we burn out. If all we focus on are our hobbies, on our interests, on our things, then they tend to own us. They tend to consume us, even as we consume them. And so, along with passion, it is essential that we live with compassion as well. People who reach out, who touch other people, who think about other people, who remember other people, are the people who leave behind that sense of holy pain as well. And so it is essential for us to master both, living with passion and also living with compassion, and understanding the importance not just of our interests, but also of our interests in other people. Third and final lesson: say what needs saying. There is a website I came across as I was preparing my remarks for this evening, and the website is called Things I Should Have Said. It is a simple blog where people post letters of things they had wished they had said to loved ones who are no more. Think, when you hear a few of these letters, it becomes clear to us how essential it is to observe this life lesson. The first letter I wish to share with you. Dear Aaron, by the way, as I share this, I just want to point out, we know nothing about the people who post these letters. There's no biography or anything. Sometimes an age is given. Otherwise, it's just the letter on the website. Dear Aaron, I want to talk to you so very much. I want to tell you about my husband-to-be. I want to tell you about my new career. I want to talk to you about our new niece or nephew. I want to talk to you about our childhood memories. I hope when I write you this letter, you can read it wherever you are, even if you cannot talk back. I miss you so very much. I missed you when I graduated high school. I missed you when I graduated college. I missed you when our best friend had her first child. I missed you when I tried on my wedding dress. I hope that if I carry you in my heart, it keeps you from missing me too. I love you so very much. I should have said that every day. I should have said it when we fought. I should have said it when you got sick. I should have said it the last time I saw you walk out our front door. I should have said it every day before you died. I hope you can forgive me for not having said it every chance that I got. I want to talk to you. I miss you. I love you. Another one. This is from Danny, age 79. Hi, Mom. I don't know how the mail service is in heaven, but here goes nothing. I never felt I told you how important you were to me. Like the time I came home from the army after serving in Korea, and I laid around the house doing nothing, and you said, "Get a job, I'm not feeding you anymore." Well, I applied for a job to appease you. Of course, as you know, I spent 40 years working at General Motors. Thank you, Mama. The first marriage was a bust. I don't see the kids, and you know I never wanted to see my ex. But life goes on. My second wife is a good woman. We've been married over 30 years now. Of course, she can never cook as well as you did. I miss you, Mama, the older I get. There were so many things I wanted to say, but words are lost in this vacuum of a brain. I'd like to say that I will see you when I die, Mama, but I will be going in the other direction. I hear it's too cold in heaven, and I happen to like warm weather. So, Mama, I hope this note gets to you. I love you and miss you. Your son, Danny. I should also just add, P.S., remember, Ma, I was the pretty one, not my brother or my sister. Just kidding. And finally, dear Grandma, I was only in 3rd grade when you passed away, but I feel I was so close to you, even though I rarely got to visit you. I wish I could have told you I loved you more on the phone or over letters. You always loved everyone no matter what. You knew what love really was. I wish you were still here. I think about you all the time and miss you very much. When I go to visit Grandpa, it's hard knowing that when I go into his room, you will not be sitting on the bed with lifesaver candies waiting to watch The Wizard of Oz with me. But I know you are in heaven waiting us, and I know you'll always be with me. Love, your loving granddaughter, age 13. Judaism understands the importance of not leaving it left unsaid. On Yom Kippur, we recite, as part of the evening service and throughout the day, the vidui, the prayer, a confession. However, this is not the only time that we recite the confession. Another time that we can recite the vidui, that we recite the confession, is just before a person passes away. There is what they call a final vidui. This vidui can be said by the person if they have the opportunity and the ability to say it, but it also can be said on behalf of a person to others around. It is similar to, in intent, the vidui that we recite. It asks for forgiveness. It asks for love and acknowledges the people who have been around that person and who have given them so much. That final vidui embodies Judaism's understanding of this crucial life lesson. Because I will tell you, although there is a holy pain that surrounds a funeral, there is a different kind of pain that I feel and that one hears when someone says, "I never got to tell him," or "I never got to say." And so here are 3 phrases that in my experience people wish they could have said or did say. Thank you. I love you. Forgive me. These are among the things that we need to be able to say, that we need to say to those people around us, those people we love, those people we care about. We cannot assume that they know. We cannot assume that they understand. And we cannot assume that we will be able to share those words with them some other time. The rituals of Yom Kippur parallel and invite us to consider and contemplate death. Like the dead, we do not eat. Like the dead, we do not wash. Like the dead, we do not engage on Yom Kippur in sexual relations. And like the dead, it is customary for people to wear white, similar to a burial shroud. The services themselves evoke death. We have the martyrology, where we remember those who sacrificed, those who gave their lives. We have Yiskert, that focuses on those who we've lost personally. And we have prayers that call upon us to consider who shall live and who shall die. We all know intellectually that we are going to die someday. We just don't live that way. But we need to accept the inevitability of our own death and use it as a goad for our own life now, and fill this life with the things that are important. We need to remember those small things that people remember about us, and that it is not the large and ostentation that often make the greatest impact on those we love. We must also find that which we are passionate about and inspires us, and direct our energies to those projects and those goals. But in addition, we must always remember that as we direct our lives, we must also consider others. For so often, the richest lives are those that touch people around them. And finally, we need to say what we need to say, and say it now. Words like thank you and I love you and I'm sorry need to be shared and shared continually. For there really is nothing more painful than having a life end without saying and sharing what we think and what we feel about another person. These, my friends, are the lessons that I've learned as I've pastored, counseled, and shared moments of reflection with those who face the death of a loved one, who feel that holy pain. And as I reflect upon the privilege of my experiences, it seems to me that Irvin Yalom, a great psychotherapist, got it right when he said in his work, Love's Executioner, that though the reality of death may kill us, it is the idea of death that just might enable us to save our lives by teaching us how to live. May we all be sealed in the book of life by the way that we live our life. Shana Tova, everyone.